Cool. We starting? Cool. Hi, I'm Alex. I produce video games. Quick warning, some of the slides late in the presentation depict some transphobic, violent, and sexist content, all of which are screenshots from modern titles. They're in there in order to illustrate a point, so just an FYI. That being said, let's get off on the right foot here. Oh boy. Sure, let's go with that. Why not? So this is the familiar, voluble refrain of the Steam Greenlight Peanut Gallery, committed to snuffing out the imposters in their midst. Their concern is in deference, perhaps unconsciously, to the fact that we are all going to die, probably soon and probably painfully, so of course, we need to min-max our time on Earth. And how dare these precious moments fall into the clutches of some false icon like Depression Quest. But with the same respect for these fleeting moments, we have to ask why we're moralizing over a label like video game for its own sake, as though the role games and non-games play in our lives are somehow orthogonal. If we judge the validity of media by its success in fulfilling the purpose of media, then Depression Quest is more valid than any mere video game could ever hope to be, and this directly affects your purpose as critics. Bear with me here. There are some things it's worth noting that Depression Quest is not. For instance, Depression Quest is not a pipe. In the late 1920s, Belgian surrealist René Magritte painted The Treachery of Images, depicting a simple tobacco pipe. The text states, and pardon me if I butcher this, ceci n'est pas une pipe. Translated to English, this is not a pipe. Magritte was being truthful, the message being that it is merely a painting of a pipe. Magritte said of his work, people reproached me for it, and yet, could you stuff my pipe? For all the flack he caught for his piece, Magritte never drew the ire of the readership of Pipe Informer, incensed over the idea that they couldn't stuff his painting. Had this happened, he would have gotten a taste of life as an experiential game developer. This is the treachery of games. We are insecure about games. We are insecure about game criticism. When confronted with intruders like Depression Quest, which dare to exist in the discourse reserved for AAA travesties and the Unreal Engines of power them, our reaction is defensive and neophobic. We dismiss their value outright for non-compliance with the arbitrary mores that they seek to question, like a beltway bigot desperately fastening qualifiers to the definition of marriage. To quote a recent obituary of Philip Seymour Hoffman, it's like watching a group of children gossiping in a nonsense language they had invented in order to exclude an unpopular classmate. There's a certain internal logic apparent in the chatter as the gibberish is repeated in certain sequences, respecting vague rules using distinct inflections, but all an observer would be able to discern amidst the nonsense is latent contempt for the subject. All this in defense of a thoroughly besotted narcissistic industry that fabricates its sense of integrity from whole cloth, but to satisfy the pedants, another concession. Depression Quest is not depression. In a scientific paper published in 1931, philosopher Alfred Korzybski encapsulated the concept of a map-territory relationship, a relationship between a concept abstracted from a thing and a thing itself, observable, ingestible representations of a territory or concept we normally cannot grasp without the experience of actually being there. Marshall McLuhan argued that all media is comprised of such relationships, extensions and abstractions of situations or emotions, such as invincibility, victory, voyeurism, or inquisition. Depression Quest is trying to extend and abstract something specific. It was never meant to go down comfortably. Depression Quest is not a smash hit top 40 single. Depression Quest is a map to the territory of depression, and it uses interactivity to draw a startlingly accurate diagram. As a piece of pure media, then, it's a resounding success. Video game isn't just a label, it's a subclassification, a phylum of media. It's a low bar that Depression Quest manages to leave in the dust. And this is where you come in. I view creators of not just games, but of all media as cultural cartographers with the duty of praising their maps falling to you, the critics, not just for their presentation and legibility, nor their format, but for their accuracy. And as the proverb goes, the best way to learn about the journey ahead is to ask someone who's just returning from it. Except this industry, this readership, this consumer demographic, we demand knowledge of the route, but shun knowledge of the journey. We want to muzzle your experience and call it journalistic impartiality. Let's be perfectly clear, impartiality is bullshit. You can't control how you feel, only how you choose to externalize your feelings, and that's what we're so desperately trying to control. I'm a AAA producer. That's where I live. I've seen the emails come down about E3 demos and press junkets, and I'm line level in a producer pit, so chances are I'm the one booking your flights and your bar tabs and spa treatments and catering and rooms full of HD TVs and Alienwares and Razer keyboards with neon fucking undercarriages. And none of these are about the game. We're plying you with payola. We're not just expecting you to not be impartial, we're fucking banking on it. And then we have the gall to demand your impartiality when it stands to work against us. Where exactly do we expect the game industry to go if we let it grade its own damn papers? Can we really claim to care? When Grand Theft Auto V launched, Carolyn Petit dared to give the game a generous 9 out of 10, docking at a point for being exceptionally misogynistic, more than its presumed cynicism could really justify, a very real problem that threatens the enjoyment of anyone with an eye for spotting marginalization. For her commitment to her readership, she was pilloried by the internet's teenage nihilist mosh pit. They deemed her too sensitive to get it, nursing their sense of denied grandeur, with the implication, of course, being that they do. In their mind's eye, they are all very hard, enlightened cultural connoisseurs with sharp wits who enjoy ham-handed, mealy-mouthed cultural shit-kicking, their minds and collective conscience honed to a steely, indifferent edge by the brilliant satire of South Park. These people who so vociferously defend a $250 million technical marvel from a woman looking out for the best interest of others. They are mice that roar, dishonest sacks of hot garbage who should be broken on racks. Their sibilant hissing should not be mistaken for love of games or ideological purity, but for what it is. Insecurity, hegemony in motion, a pleading request for the homogeneous neurotypical Mountain Dew, easily ingested but utterly bereft of nutritional value. We seek meaning and guidance from you. They seek to become lost, to set a torch to the path, and they prefer we burn up with them, and our industry would settle to be an eternally burning garbage fire so long as willing consumers stoke the coals. When I engage with media, I know that I am dying. I need to make sure my time is well spent. I don't care if Depression Quest is a game, it could be a fucking sandwich for all I care. None of this matters. I'm engaging with media, and I am dying while I am at it. I need to know where I'm going, and chances are I follow you as a critic specifically because you can tell me exactly that, because your lenses speak to my own. When GTA 5 stands a good chance of making me, a straight white dude, feel exceptionally uncomfortable about race and gender portrayals, I want to know. When God of War is going to surprise me with a sexist trophy that makes me put the game down, I want to know. And when it's something as relatively benign as having to suspend your engrossment to gloss over the fact that Nathan Drake is murdering hundreds of dudes for Mayan trinkets, you know what? I do want to know. I want your insight. I want your agenda. If I didn't, I wouldn't be talking to you. So go gonzo. Don't conflate personality with bias. Even if you do, don't see bias as a bad thing. The game industry is decadent and depraved. We need you to be you. Don't let the industry buy you off. Don't let the academics take you too far down your own navels. And don't let the commentariat distract you from what we need. The Lewis and Clark journals. The accurate appraisals of these maps. The ways we can make them better. The rest is all sound and fury. Tales told by idiots signifying nothing. If you really believe in this medium as something that speaks to us, tell us what it's saying. To wit, Depression Quest, Gone Home, Dear Esther, whatever. These may not, maybe it's because the format of what we consider to be games don't do justice to what they're trying to say. I'll be damned if we're going to fault their creators for choosing authenticity, and I'll be damned if we're going to silence you for offering us your personal odyssey. But if you want formalism, you know what isn't a game? This. This is not a game. It is a disc. It is fragile, it is tangible, it is not nearly as invincible as Rockstar would like us to believe. Now, I assure you the game is in fact fine. In fact, millions of people are enjoying it right now. But those millions of people, well, they're on their own. Thank you.